I'm Cheryl Morales of the Newport News Tourism Office, and welcome to What's New in Newport News. Today's show is featuring a new sport event that the city will be hosting. It's a cycling event that's called Newport News Twilight Criterium, and it's going to be held on Saturday, July 30th, downtown in the Yard District. Today, to tell us about the details of this inaugural event, we have Graham Costa. He is of Team Hampton Roads and the race director for this event. And we also have Walter Gardner. He's the owner of Village Bicycles. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, let's start with you, Graham. Can you tell our audience a little bit about cycling and how long you've been doing it?
So cycling goes back to early 1900s, and even before that. I would say most people's experience would probably be watching the Tour de France, which is actually currently on. It's every July for the last 100+ years. I myself have been cycling since I was a kid. I started competitively riding about 2016, and I've been racing since 2017.
Wow, here locally or
Yes.
throughout?
Yes.
Okay.
Here, Maryland, North Carolina. So just within this area, yep.
Great. Well, tell our audience what a criterium is. It's a little different word, and I had to look it up myself.
So it's French, and a criterium is a smaller course, so generally around a mile or less. This particular course is 1 kilometer, which is about 0.6, 0.7 miles. And generally, it's based on time so that you can keep a schedule. And then after a couple laps, the officials will determine how long each lap is taking, and then they'll use a lap board to count down the number of laps. So it's very popular in the United States because the racing is fast, and it's good for spectators because they get to see the fields come around a number of times. Unlike road events where it might be a 20-mile loop, and you might be standing by the road for an hour before they come back around. So criteriums are definitely the most popular type of racing in the United States.
It sounds exciting, but what is making our event here in Newport News so different?
The location is fantastic. Anytime you can have a city-type environment, an urban environment, with the buildings and just the roads, and then also what's nice about Newport News is it has a little bit of terrain. It's got a slight uphill and a downhill on a couple of the streets. It's got a number of turns, which makes it very technical, which is rare in our area. That'll attract people who are looking for a really hard course that has a lot of stopping and going, because they'll have to slow down for the turns and then reaccelerate. So some people's abilities are suited to that type of course. And just the fact that the Yard District is getting revitalized by Newport News, so it's just going to be a really great event. It's going to be a big party.
Absolutely. Sounds like a great fun event. I agree. Okay, with that said, why don't you guide us through the course itself and the different races, because it's not just one, correct?
Exactly. Yeah, so there's different races depending on your skill level. That keeps it fair, so there's beginner. It's called Cat 4 and 5. There's a men's and women's for that, and that anyone can sign up. All you have to do is either purchase an annual USA Cycling license, or you can purchase one day of on site, and you can get in the race. As long as you have a helmet and your bike passes, it has brakes and stuff like that, you're good to go. And then it goes all the way up to expert categories, which is pro 1, 2, 3 fields, which will be the marquee events of the day. And actually the men's 1, 2, 3 races at night, which is rare for our area. Twilight criteriums are generally hard to pull off just because localities are hesitant to let promoters do that, but the city of Newport News has been fantastic with working with us. And what makes this particular course special is it's a figure 8 configuration. So there's actually 8 90-degree turns in 1 kilometer, which makes it it's going to be extremely tough for the bike racers. However, the roads are very wide. They're between 3 and 4 lanes wide, so it'll be very safe and fast despite the number of turns. And it'll be excellent for spectators because turns are fun to watch. The course can easily be walked around in a couple minutes, so it's really an ideal course for this type of racing.
And so it's the same course that is set for whether you're a beginner or an expert, is that right?
Yeah, so it'll be the same exact 1 kilometer course.
Okay.
The only field that it'll be different for is the kids race, because there's kids as young as 3 in there, and to ask them to, you know, ride up the little hill would be, I would think, kind of mean. So we're going to have a shorter loop that we're going to make for the kids race.
Sure. Well, I heard that there's also money involved.
Yes, we have a number of sponsors that have really helped us out financially. Compass Intermodal is the big one. They're contributed $5,000 for the men's and women's 1, 2, 3 fields. And then there's a number of other local companies. Hilton Builders, they're sponsoring one of the men's masters races. Cornerstone Property Inspections, he's a good friend, Robert Anaya, owns that company, and he contributed money. So, and there's the Trek store, Village Bicycles of Newport News, who Walt's going to talk about later. Just tons of great sponsors.
Well, then, that's a good segment into talking with you, Walt. How's that?
That's great.
You do own, where is Village Bicycle Shop?
So it's in close to Hilton Village. So we're between Main Street and Center Avenue. And we're about, I'd say, a quarter mile from the James River Bridge on the same side of the road.
Yeah.
So,
and how long you been there?
I started there in 1977.
Oh, you've got to be kidding
No,
me.
no,
Wow.
right out of high school.
Yes,
Yeah.
I didn't realize the shop had been there for
Well, it has been. It's been, it started out as Village Bicycles, and then it was Conti's Bike Shop for a while, and then the Contis gave me an opportunity to start my own shop there, so it went back to the name Village Bicycles.
Fantastic. That's great. Now, I got a silly question for you.
That's okay.
You own a bike shop.
Yes, ma'am.
But do you also race?
No, ma'am.
Okay. I guess not that silly. That's
yes,
okay.
I did before I was a shop owner, but yeah, just running the business occupies quite a bit of my time.
Well, and I also heard too that through COVID, right, this became a very popular sport, and not just for cycling, but casual riding, as well. And you and your wife, Connie, actually helped our department out to develop our bike trails through Newport News. So whether you're a competitive bike rider or you like the casual bike rides, we have it here in Newport News.
Absolutely. So our shop backs up to Bicycle Route 1, which goes through Newport News, and it kind of follows the river for a good ways, and you get to go past the college as well, and it's safe back there because if it's a bike route, none of the speeds are really over 35 miles an hour, I think. So it gives the motorist plenty of time to spot a cyclist ahead. And it seems pretty friendly back there.
It's in the community.
Correct.
Itself,
Correct.
really.
Yep,
the way that
absolutely.
route goes. It is a nice one. You're right, and it follows that river, which is beautiful. And we've got some mountain biking trails too.
Absolutely.
Really, who would think about it? In Newport News, we really do.
We do. There's a hidden gem right over there behind Riverside Hospital.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called now. It used to be Lake Maury area.
Mariners Lake.
Is that what it is?
Yep.
Mariners Lake now? But that's a wonderful place to go in and mountain bike. You wouldn't believe that you're in the middle of the city. Once you enter the trail, you just feel like you're out there in the wilderness.
Well, I really thank you guys for the help you did with the map that we developed so that people can enjoy the sport, whether it is competitive or just
absolutely.
casual.
And you mentioned COVID, and that's allowed a lot of folks to rediscover bike riding. But a lot of people, after they buy their first car, they rarely ride a bike much after that. And I think when COVID hit and people couldn't go to the gym or do other activities, group meetings and stuff, they rediscovered riding a bike. It makes you feel like a kid all over again.
Absolutely. And you're right, and great exercise as well, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Lots of benefits.
Well, when I was outlining some questions, for our show today, I came across a video in YouTube that was really exhilarating. I couldn't believe it. The cyclist actually had a camera on his bike, and you were in the middle, and I'm going to call it a pack. Is that what you call it?
Pack, Peloton.
Peloton,
yeah,
okay.
French words for it.
There you go. And yes, the turns, the speed. I mean, it was just, you guys are kicking butt out there. How fast are you actually traveling?
So it'll depend on the course. That particular video you're talking about is actually a race I put on last year, and I know the Pro 1, 2, 3, which are the elite men, I believe they average 27, 28 miles an hour for the entire hour. So for this one, I believe the speeds will be about the same, maybe slightly slower just because of all the turns, and it is weather dependent too. If it's a little wet, you know, they'll take it a little easier in the turns, but then they hammer it in the straightaways to make up for it, so it can be really hard. But yeah, it's mainly course dependent, but yeah.
What's going through your mind when you're going that fast and trying, and the one thing that I was like really enthralled with was when trying to pass, like in NASCAR, for example. You know, that's almost the same thing, but in a bike, and you're exposed, let's face it, you know, but trying to pass someone, what is the strategy? How do you train for that?
So there's a lot of group dynamic depending on the size of the group. It's just like NASCAR where you'll get a draft if you're, you know, not the person on the front. I mean, if you're on the front, you're going to be doing significantly more, you're expending significantly more energy than if you're in the back. And depending on the type of racer you are, I mean, some people will try to make a breakaway where they try to break away from the main pack, and maybe some other people will join them. And they might be strong enough to do that on their own, whereas other racers might be sprinter types where, you know, they'll wait until the last couple laps and then they'll start to move up, and then when the opportunity presents itself, you know, they're very fresh because they've been, you know, behind everyone the whole time, and, you know, they'll have more energy with which to sprint.
So definitely a strategy, and you're not.
There's lots of strategy.
Just thinking of what you're going to be cooking for dinner that night when you're in this.
Yeah.
You're doing,
and it is actually a team sport. I mean, some people will be out there individually, but there are a number of teams locally that compete in it, and there are very much team tactics that go on. You know, helping. You know, you might have one designated guy that is your leader, that you're trying to have him expend as little energy as possible. So the other people on the team will be helping him by riding in front of him or putting him in a good position. So it's very much a chess match out there, and it can be quite complex at times.
Great. Yep. Where can people go to find out more information, to register, and to learn about the race itself?
So there will be race flyers distributed to all of the local bike shops.
So go to Village Bicycles, yes.
So, and then also there's a website called bikereg.com. It's www.bikereg.com, and that actually is what most promoters use to advertise their races, you know, for people to sign up. It's a very well-known website. The people who run it are fantastic whenever you have to talk with them. And it makes it very easy. You find the event, Newport News Twilight Criterium. You can type that into the search bar, or you can search by the date, July 30th, and it'll pop up. And if you have any questions, you know, you can email me. My email's listed there, or call. My phone number's there as well. But if you're looking to race for the first time, you would be in the men's or women's Cat 4-5 categories. And if you're interested in coming out and you want information, feel free to email or call anytime.
Well, we talked a little bit too prior to coming on today about your volunteers that you have. So you've got a lineup of volunteers. Tell us who's going to be helping you.
So we're going to have a kids mountain bike organization called Colonial Revolution. They'll have members out there helping us, mainly course marshaling. We also have Boy Scouts of America. We have some members of Team Hampton Roads, THR Cycling, that are also Boy Scouts, so they're going to put the word out that we need volunteers, and you know, you can always count on the Boy Scouts. Yep. So, and also THR Cycling has a number of members. We're up to about 60 members, so they're always willing to help, especially with registration, where there's a little bit of a learning curve to get into it. Mm-hmm. So, but if anyone is interested in volunteering, you can find my phone number or email address, and you can email me and say you're interested. So we have you know, registration available to work. We need tons of course marshals.
You also told us about a special announcer that's going to be here.
Yes, so we have, for those that followed racing in the 2000s, we actually have Frankie Andreu coming all the way down from Michigan to act as the announcer for the Newport News Twilight Criterium.
Fantastic. You know, we didn't talk about one aspect for spectators. Where is it going to be the optimum place for them to be? Is there, or are you going to basically be able to see a lot of the race wherever you are.
That's what's so great about this course is you can move around during the race, but always the ideal locations would be around the finish line. And then with this particular course, because it's a figure 8, the middle part you'll be able to see the middle of the course, so you'll be able to see people coming from the backside and people coming on the front side. And so when this race invariably splits up, you're going to be able to see the front of the field and the back of the field. And if the fields are big enough, it'll be so strung out to where you'll be able to see, the continuous field come around 2 times. So instead of waiting, a minute for the field to come around, you'll be able to see the field every 30 seconds, which will be very exciting.
Yeah, great. Well, we've covered a lot, there's no doubt. Do you think we missed anything other than register now or come on and visit us and be a spectator?
Register early and often, and the city has been fantastic to work with. They're 100% on board with bringing more bike racing to Newport News. So please come out and support the event, and then if it goes well, there will be more.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having us.
Coming up next, we're going to be talking with Seth Cadell of Coastal Fermentory. He is planning a special event for, yes, the racers, but also the spectators. Now, if you haven't been to the Yard District yet, this will be a great opportunity for you to come out, enjoy the area, and enjoy the event. So take a look at this video, and when we return, we'll be talking about the after party.
Welcome to downtown Newport News. Maybe it's been a while since you've been here. What's new, you ask? Well, only one of the most vibrant new hotspots in the city, teeming with arts and events, new businesses, and plenty more. We affectionately call it the Yard District. It's a nod to being the home of the Newport News Shipyard, a play on the industrial setting and the natural feel of the space. Downtown Newport News is looking good. Whether it's dinner, drinks, a picnic in the park, access to city services, or some downtown Riverside sightseeing, you'll find it all in the Yard, including some new public art. And we're just getting started. Coming soon, a 20-foot sidewalk promenade with a concrete and grass amphitheater overlooking the James River, along with new restaurants and businesses, and even new places to live. It's time to add downtown Newport News back to your fun card, because really great things are happening. Pick up one of these event cards and find out for yourself why it's all happening in the Yard.
Well, welcome back to What's New in Newport News. Yes, the Yard District is coming along, isn't it? It is exciting stuff happening over there, so you got to come check it out, especially during our new inaugural event. It's a cycling race that's happening, Newport News Twilight Criterium. It's going to be on Saturday, July 30th, and they want spectators to come out. So come and check out the Yard District and the event, and also the after party. And with me right now is Seth Cadell of Coastal Fermentory. He is actually co-owner of the facility and planning a super time for this event. So thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Let's talk about Coastal Fermentory first, okay? Because I want to know your story. How did it come about, and how long you been there?
Yeah, so we've been open in downtown Newport News, the Yard District, for just about a year and a half now. And so we opened in the middle of COVID, which was a big challenge. We are 4 regular guys that own the place. We're just normal people that really liked beer and thought there's got to be other people that love beer. And so we decided to go in to start the business up, to get it running. And it's gone well. The revitalization of the Yard District has been huge for us, partnering with the city and with our neighbors, Ironclad Distillery, and now our other new neighbors, Benny Cantiere's, the pizza place that's down there on our street with us.
The big, huge pizza place.
Massive, yes, the massive slices of pizza. So we've started to create a culture down there, a vibe. We do a lot of offbeat events, and we love being a spot for people in downtown. And so when the city reached out to us about advertising the Twilight Criterium, we were like, yes, can we do an after party for it? And so we hosted the One City after party for the marathon, which was awesome. It was a great opportunity to celebrate those accomplishments of those runners. And so I was like, I know plenty of cyclists. We have plenty of them that come in. We want to celebrate with them as well for their race. So
everyone enjoys a good cold beer afterwards. There's no doubt, whether you're out there cheering them on or actually participating. So there's no doubt, you know,
you
about
earn it either way.
You do earn it either way. Tell us about your beer.
Yeah, so we specialize in a few different styles of beer. Everything that we sell in our facility, we produce in-house. And so we specialize in IPAs, which are extremely popular right now. We always have dark beers available for those people that want to drink a dark beer, whether it's 90 degrees outside or 0 degrees outside. We also have some sours that we offer, and then with our location and with what's popular, we also have some easier light beers that we offer as well. So there really is a little something for everybody. We've recently launched a hard seltzer brand, so if you're calorie conscious, you can still come out and have something to drink, as well as a house-made kombucha that we do, which is a probiotic drink. It's a fermented tea that helps with digestion, and so we have a lot of people that come out that aren't really interested in beer or looking for gluten-free options. We've got the seltzer for them, as well as the kombucha for that crowd.
Something for everybody. Fantastic. All right, so what are some of the plans that you are making right now for this after party?
Yeah, so the after party will run after each race of the day. And so as you mentioned with your last guest, they've got races scheduled throughout the day, and so we're going to have Get Cheesy food truck as well as DD214 parked in our parking lot for the day. We'll have the parking lot blocked off. Both of them will be serving, starting with the first race, running until after the late race as well.
Yes,
the Twilight
yes.
race. Benny Cantieres will be open all day as well. And then we'll be serving beer. Ironclad is open from noon to 8 that day, and so if somebody's more of a mixed drink person or wants to try some bourbon, they'll be next door. What we're hoping to create on 23rd Street, was just a block and a half away from the race course. We're trying to create a spot where racers and spectators can get into some air conditioning for a little bit, depending on the temperature outside, have something to drink, have something to eat, and then get back out and cheer the next race on. And so we're super easy, convenient to the race course to get to, and that's really what we want to be. We want to be a pit stop for people. So after you finish your race, you can come celebrate and have a beer with us. And if you're just out there watching and you start to get hungry, or the kids start to get hungry, we'll have a spot where you can come over and grab some food, have a drink, and then get back out and keep cheering. So.
Oh, I love it. I'm there. I'm there. Yep, I can't wait, to see this. This will be my first time watching, a race like this as well. So, and it'll be nice to have a celebratory beer with them.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. It should be fun.
It'll be a great afternoon. Well, thank you for your efforts and just support, for the community, for doing, what you're doing for this event. Thank you.
No, it's a big part. We love partnering with the city, of course, with our local businesses down on 23rd, as well as with the different things that are going on in Newport News. We love the fact that Newport News is continuing to grow and expand and bring new people in, bring new exciting events in, and that's what we want to be a part of. And so for us, it's a no-brainer. It's an easy thing.
It's sounding like a
join
definite,
up with.
win-win situation. It really, lovely, fantastic. Well, thank you for being on the show today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
I'll see you then.
Yeah.
Well, and I want to thank you too for watching. As always, for more information about this and all the things that you can see and do in Newport News, check out our website at newport-news.org, and you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok too. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you at the race.